memo came to our attention about a need for French teachers in the Halifax Regional School Board. What's the current status? What's the current need for French teachers in Halifax?
Well, we have school opening on Thursday, and we still are short some French teachers. We have 8 full-time positions that need to be filled, and we have roughly 20-odd positions that are percentage positions or positions that might be for one semester only. So we need to fill those, and we wanted to let our staff know that we have this challenge ahead of us, and we wanted to make them aware that if they wish to apply, they could apply, but also they have extensive contacts throughout the province, throughout Canada. They may wish to help share the information. So we just wanted to make them informed of the issue and see if there's any way we can address it internally.
Okay, and since that memo went out Friday, I mean, it does sound like it's made some progress in the search. I believe it was 33 openings. They might not all been all full-time that were posted on Friday. Have you seen some of those openings filled in over the weekend and into today?
Well, the positions close today at 4 o'clock. So the principals will then look to see what applicants they've received, and they'll see if they meet the qualifications, and they can start filling those positions. So one of the things that occurs with our permanent employees is once they have a permanent position after the postings in the spring, they're no longer eligible to apply for positions. So we're relaxing that for them so that people who may not have any reason to check the job board can go check the job board, because there may be a position in a hard to fill area like French immersion that we will fill, and then we can backfill into an English position which might be easier to fill.
Interesting. Okay, so what happens if you don't have enough applicants to fill those positions by the end of today?
Well, ultimately, school's going to open on Thursday. There will be a qualified teacher with a license teaching those students. What has happened in the past, and will happen if we don't fill every position, is that they would start in English and they would transition into French as we have someone qualified language-wise to teach that course.
Okay. I mean, why is this information coming out, and why is there still a need this close to the school year? 2 days away, school starts on Thursday. How come this area wasn't addressed prior in the summertime?
Well, it's been worked on all summer, and so there's a couple of factors at play here. We've added more than 200 positions to our school system this year, so we have a larger complement of positions to fill. French immersion is traditionally a harder to fill position because we need the language requirement, and we've had situations in the past where this exact thing has happened at the start of the school year. This is the first time we've sent an email to staff about French immersion, but we did the exact same thing last year about guidance. So we advertised throughout the summer, both online, both nationally and locally on job boards. We extensively share the information on social media. It's a difficult position sometimes to fill because there's great interest in the position, and the fact is that all school boards in many cases are looking for teachers in this discipline, so they're very much a demand issue.
Okay, you kind of just answered this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How do you explain the need to fill this position? One thing they wanted me to ask about is this a result of capping classroom sizes, that maybe now there's more classes that need teachers?
That probably factors into it. There are 2 big factors that have led to an increase in teachers in our school board. One is the funding formula in terms of how the government allocates money. Halifax received more money last spring because they're trying to move closer to what all school boards are supposed to receive under the funding formula. We also had received teachers under class size caps. So there is an impact. In previous years where we would have seen class sizes slightly higher in French immersion, maybe a little bit above cap, we're going to be trying to start at cap. So there is an impact there. We're probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 more teaching positions at junior high alone. So it does have an impact, and that's one of the challenges that we've had, and that's what we've been working at throughout the spring and into the summer.
Okay, and if it does come down to needing to place teachers there, perhaps reposition some, how would those teachers be chosen? Does it seniority come into effect, or just proximity to the school that needs a teacher? How would that be chosen if the positions aren't filled by 4 p.m. today?
Well, actually, the email that went out to staff, it's voluntary. So a teacher is not going to be placed in a position they don't wish to fill. So what would happen is if we place someone in that position, it would be someone who's a teacher who's qualified to teach in English, maybe not French, and they would be placed there until we could find a teacher who's qualified in French. So we're not going to be placing teachers into positions they do not want. It was a voluntary ask that this is something they may wish to consider.
Okay. And I guess, what is anything being done to fix this or make sure it doesn't happen again in the future? I don't know, maybe a different way of advertising the position in the summertime. Any ideas to avoid this happening again?
Well, a couple of things that we've done is we've reached out to universities that teach French education, and said that we're going to be continually looking at issues here, and we would be more than willing to talk and have the opportunities to speak with your potential graduates and see if there's anything we can do there. The challenge is you're looking at schools in New Brunswick, schools in Quebec, where they're also in demand for teachers, so that's a challenge. We've also talked to the Department of Education about potentially fast-tracking teacher licenses from fall convocations. So there are a whole number of things our HR department is trying to do, both to react to this specific situation but be proactive in future years in terms of trying to manage the situation. But it's a challenge, and it probably will be again in the future, but our HR department is working very diligently at it daily to try and address the matter.
Okay.